Hi, everyone. How are you? How is your Sunday going? Hi, Nonsense. Hi, Josh. Hi, Taint Cheese. How is everyone? I hope your Sunday is going great. Anyone do anything fun this weekend? Josh, yeah, hopefully no crowbars needed. Hi, Mal. How are you? How's everyone's Sunday going? Any fun weekend stuff going on? Everybody ready for Monday? Get the week going? Well, I just kind of wanted to share with you another side of my story. So, I was a prison bride that ended up living a deported life. My ex was put in prison for he had a 10-year sentence. He did 8.5 of that 10 years, almost 9 years, because in California it is 85% on violent crimes, or at least it was at that point. It's like 65% they do now, so that's changed. But I just kind of wanted to explain how I'm all for like victims advocacy and everything like that, but I am also for sentence reform and immigration reform and things like that. So, I mean, I'm open to any and all questions. I'm an open book. Uh, 8.5 years was was crazy. I think about 2.5 of those years, I went ghost. I disappeared on him because there was a lot of crazy in the background. So I was there about 5 to 6 years of that 8.5 year sentence. And we were married at the prison. Um, that was interesting. We were married on the patio of the prison. Um, and he was deported on Thanksgiving of 2010. So I lived the border life where I worked and my kids went to school here in the US, but we lived over there. There was also a short time that um, I did homeschooling with my kids, which was kind of nice. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Nonsense. I don't know. Does anybody have any questions? Has anybody dealt with like prisons or having a loved one in prison? It's um, it's very frustrating because there is a lot of stereotypes when you have a loved one in prison. A lot of people think that because the loved one committed a crime, that you're a bad person as well. Um, so there was a lot of that going on. My family for sure didn't understand and had no wanted nothing to do with it. Let's see. Prison visiting room. I've sat in the same room with Eric Menendez and his wife Tammy. Very sweet people. I've been, I don't know if anybody knows, there's a rapper named X Rated. I've been in the visiting room with him. Um, Gosh, if anybody's seen the movie Alpha Dog, I sat in the room with the character that Justin Timberlake played. So it was different. Hi, Sheila. How are you? Everybody having a good Sunday? So As far as immigration, deportation, we lived in Tijuana for about 3 years. Then from Tijuana, we moved to Mexicali, and we were there for almost 7 years. So um, that was quite an experience. It's much different there. My kids got to experience it, which was great. They definitely see the difference in what homeless and being poor is in Mexico versus being poor here in California. Very different. I don't know. Does anyone have any questions? Anyone have any topics that you want to talk about? I know there's so much crazy going on, so much drama. I just needed a break from it. Hmm. So, uh, like I said, is anybody doing anything this Sunday? This beautiful day? The weather's been warm for this time of year, really warm. We've just transitioned from being in triple digits to going into more comfortable weather. We're like in the 80s right now, but the nights definitely dip down. Hi, Chica. Thank you. Thank you to Nonsense for sending you. So, I don't know. I was just kind of bored and just needed a break from all the drama. There is another, what actually made me think of doing this is there is a YouTube channel called Free Documentaries, and they did a prison bride documentary, and I had posted a comment about that, and the comments kind of went wild from there. It was pretty interesting to see what people think about prison brides. 70s, 80s for November in East is not, no, that's definitely not normal. Definitely not, Josh. My mom is originally from New York. She was born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens. So yeah, East Coast, those temps are odd. So anybody, any topics, anything anyone wants to talk about? Yeah, the drama is way too much, Sheila. It is like over the top. I don't know how Becky does it. It's craziness. Nonsense just has a way of dealing with it, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't. These people are off the chain. So anyone have anything planned for holidays coming up or anything like that? Hit you with my crowbar? No, no, Josh, let's go to crowbar therapy. It's in the tent to the left. We can bash on things in there and get it all out. I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. Oh, Josh, that's so sweet of you. You volunteered to work and let others have the day off. That's very sweet of you. Someone gets to stay with their family. There was an earthquake down in Cuba, 6.8. Oh my goodness. Prayers, and healing energy for them. That's devastating. Wow, you volunteered for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's to work all three. Oh my goodness, you are a sweetheart. There are people, your coworkers should be thanking you because they are going to have an amazing time making memories with their families thanks to you. That is very sweet. Do you know where the earthquake was centralized? Has there been any reports? Another tropical wave of depression could come into the Gulf. Oh my goodness. I hope not. I hope no late storms for y'all. Hi, Smiles. Oops, not Smiles. So, yeah, right, Sheila? That's so sweet of Josh. Anybody going to travel for the holidays? I usually don't do much for the holidays. Don't have a very big family. Thank you, Cat Lady. That's sweet. Thank you for looking. Oh my goodness. Do you happen to have family there, or it was just something that you caught on the news? I'm so happy to have our AM therapy today. Much, much needed. Thank you. Aw, thank you, Josh. Who's Jill? Calls BHB. I would love to be in a cell with BHB. I could teach her a few things. Lots of lessons that one needs. Um, Wade Wilson is on, right? So, anything good going on YouTube? I mean, is there anywhere that is safe to go? I'm so disconnected from the drama. I don't really do the drama. I pop in every once in a while, but I'm looking for safe zones to go to. Something that can decompress and have some fun. Oh no, it's just unheard of to me. I know earthquakes can happen, but they seem to be on the regular nowadays. Yes, I live in a place where there's multiple fault lines, so we are constantly having earthquakes. In fact, there was a big one here. You can even see it on YouTube. It was Easter Sunday. I want to say 2010, 2012, something like that. It was huge. There's a lot of videos of that one. Pretty scary. I can't listen to the way it calls either. It's so creepy. That is just so weird. That's one thing that I learned in the prison world is there's MBIs and there's MWIs. Met before incarcerated and met while incarcerated. The MWIs, the met while, there's some wild stories there. I mean, people actually seeking out inmates and looking to start relationships with them. It's a wild adventure. Lots of lots of drama. I've seen some things happen in visiting rooms that are just like jaw dropping. I've seen a guy that was sitting there visiting with one woman, and then his wife walked in. Just really bizarre things. Can you tell us about true crime was like when you started? So true crime, I've been following true crime for years and years and years and years. I started with just watching TV shows like American Justice and just anything on A&E and like Discovery channels and stuff. I used to watch it with my dad. I just enjoyed watching those. It was very interesting to me. I'm more interested in the psychology part of it than actually like the crime and the crime itself. So from there, I started reading books by Douglas. I can't remember his first name, but he was an FBI agent, and I got even more involved in it with it. John Douglas. John Douglas. Great line of books. Very, very interesting person. From there, I just, started then. God, I'm gonna date myself. AOL chat groups. There was crime chat groups that I used to get involved in. And then, of course, Facebook and all of that. So discussion groups. But now the true crime genre is like off the chain, and it's not even about true crime anymore. And then looking at YouTube and true crime. Oh, yeah, no. This is not true crime. This is just drama all the way around and different ways to make money. Let's see here. Hello. For anyone coming in, I do appreciate you all coming. I know I'm not like super exciting and over the top with like drama or cases or anything like that, but I just kind of like to have a chill place just to talk. Super open book. Anybody that wants to talk, anybody that wants to ask questions, I'm just here. Like I'll answer anything. The first case that got me was the two girls involved by a gang in Houston. Oh, that were unalived by a gang in Houston. I'll have to look at that one. There is a lot of crime in Houston. Very, very sad. A lot of crime there. Do you remember a time when you saw a drastic switch to what some classify it is? When Facebook started going to discussion groups, that is when I noticed. Hi, good Nanya. That is when I noticed that there was a huge change in true crime, and the people that were interested in it was when they started forming these discussion groups. I'm learning now that a lot of people like the JLR crowd and stuff and BHB are connected to these true crime discussion groups, and that is how they get a lot of their so-called tips, which is nothing but rumor and stuff. I've been kicked out of so many of them. I'm not even on Facebook anymore because it's just a cesspool of craziness. But I definitely noticed, I would say in the last 3 or 4 years, that the discussion groups, especially the Kylie Rodney case, Idaho 4 and all of that, it's just been really disgusting. Everybody wants to immediately go to like sexual assault and things like that. And if that is not the case, then I find that very vile to put that on anyone or suggest that happen. I feel going anywhere outside of the facts of a case is very disgusting. Of course, discussions, opinions, and things like that, but in a respectful manner. You have to remember, like, there's families. There's families and loved ones, so they should be put first. Did MySpace? You know what? I never really did MySpace. I'm always behind the times with any type of social media. Like I didn't really do Facebook until a very long time after it was already out and stuff. I'm like very analog. I'm just like, technology is weird to me. I don't know. Like I can tell you some of the cases that I was really interested in was like the Unabomber. I was very interested in his case because he actually believed that social media was going to be the downfall. And if you research him, he was actually used in in psychological testing when he was in college, and very, very bright, very smart man. But I do believe that due to those testings and the things that they did to him, he kind of lost it. And then his focus became how social media was going to corrupt the world, and that was going to be the downfall. And then he did what he did. So that case is very interesting to me, just because of the psych of it, the psychology of it. Do you feel like unanswered questions drive to speculation, or do you feel like people will ignore facts to be able to speculate? I think it is a combination of both. That is like a very, very good question, but I do think it's a combination of both. I think that people, it's like Lord of the Flies. They want the most salacious, over the top, wildest story, and they run with it without the facts. So they will create the rumor to make the facts and then drive it home. And oh God, it's just so disgusting. Speculation is the worst thing in a case. You can discuss on opinion based on fact. This is my opinion. You can discuss a case based on fact. You can discuss your opinion based on fact. But when you start adding in things that are not there, that is very dangerous to a case. See, I'm in the inner city of Houston throughout 3,000 plus rape kits. What? Oh my God, that is absolutely disgusting. My dad's from Galveston, Texas, but they threw out 3,000 rape kits. I know that there's some laws that they're trying to put in place to speed up the process of rape kits. My rape kit was not tested for the first like 7 years. And that's unbelievable and ridiculous. In your opinion, could true crime protect victims better? Absolutely. People in general can protect victims. We can protect them by not jumping to speculation. We can protect them by sticking to the facts. We could protect them by only we can protect them by not trying to make money off of their story, in the sense that we create a storyline to attract people to come in. The crime itself, whatever the victim has gone through, is horrible enough as it is. Why make it more than what it is? And I definitely believe that people digging in backgrounds of the victims, digging in backgrounds even of the perpetrator and stuff, I really don't agree with that. I believe that cases should go all the way through with law enforcement. Once it hits the court and the documents are released and we see them, then have a discussion about it and stick to what the facts are within that. And if you have a different opinion of it, at least make your opinion fit within those facts. I noticed that the Delphi case is all over the place, and that one breaks my heart. Does anyone in here know much about the Florida fires 2017? That's very interesting, and I'm trying to figure out how they believe it's connected to the Delphi case. I personally believe I believe that there's like connections between investigators and stuff in the case. I find it very interesting that there was a insurance pulled on that house that was much, much greater than the worth of the house. The accelerant, why did they not notice the accelerant right away? There's a lot of very concerning details within that. And the fact that they wanted the mother to admit to drug interaction when that wasn't even part of the fire or what had happened. It's very, very, that's an interesting case. We should dig into that. I didn't have MySpace and my kids made my Facebook. Yeah, I didn't have MySpace. In fact, my daughter created one. She was like 9 or 10. Oh, she was probably 10 or 11. She created one behind my back, and I happened to open the computer and saw that. And there was a disgusting man who, well, at least the profile looked like a man who wrote in code, "I'll call you my sweet little baby when you make me come." And I about hit the floor. I was so incredibly disgusted. She also had somebody on there from the local high school that was talking with her, and he kept saying, like, I don't think you are who you say you are. I don't think you're the age. Like, he was questioning her, but he was still talking to her. We happened to run into him because he worked at a local grocery store, and I pulled him to the side and said, "That's who you're talking to. You're talking to a 9-year-old. If you're questioning the age, then stop communication. Like, there's no reason to continue with communication if you already have that idea." And he was in shock, and he apologized up and down. And, I hope he learned a lesson from that. I'm sorry if I'm missing comments here. It's wild because until this trial, I hadn't even heard of it. Yeah, that came up not long after the trial, not long after the Delphi murders. That was kind of brought up in some of the discussion groups, but I honestly, I can't find the link between the two. I don't think there's really much of a link, but that case on its own is very interesting and should be looked at. So said that, yeah, 4 little ones lost their lives and no answer. The Delphi case is a lot to process and gives you a good look at how much social media impacts. Yes, Delphi case, Sophie Long, Idaho 4, and even this Sebastian case. The way that these cases take on a life of their own is devastating. It's devastating to the family. It's devastating to true crime itself. We're never going to be able to move forward and create laws and protect victims if we cannot get on the same page and understand that these cases are not to make money. These cases are not here to exploit. The Delphi, they say the Delphi was a distraction from the girls. Oh, that's interesting. I want to know more about that. That's interesting how that even came about. Hmm. Oh, it's all in the same county. Okay. I haven't gotten far enough to see any connections between the two, but the Flora situation deserves justice. Yeah, they absolutely do. I mean, those four little ones that lost their life, and all of the changes within and the questions and everything else, like, it was obviously intentional, and somebody needs to pay for that. Somebody needs to answer for that. I appreciate those of you who are in here. Mm, what does exploitation look like to me? Exploitation is when anytime that you deviate from the facts in a way that creates more of a salacious narrative. Um, Exploitation is basically when you care more about the money and the views than you do the victim. There's a lot of forms of exploitation, but definitely if we're going to look at YouTube itself, it is the way that they present the case, and they use the victims' names in ways that are harmful to the case, harmful to the victim, harmful to the families. Sophie was the first case that I saw the madness. Yeah, yeah. Sophie's case is one that really, really bothers me. Really bothers me, and I see so many parallels to the Sebastian case. It's really concerning. It's concerning that the judicial system has not put in place laws to protect the victims when it comes to social media. Yes, there's a lot of conspiracy within the Delphi murders, unfortunately. And that again came from social media. It's a heavy KKK County corrupt officials. The deputy DA in the Delphi case used to work on the city council that the town. Oh, okay. I'll have to look more into that connection. I definitely would like to see the floor fires looked into and the facts being presented because, that's four babies that lost their life. And there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. I wish we could do a deep dive on the Long case. We talk about it often. I would love to do a deep dive on the Long case, but at the same time, I don't want to exploit that little girl and that family any more than she already was. And so it's like it's crossing a line. It's crossing a line for me. If there was a way to present it without harming the children or the loved ones, I would love to do that. If anyone has any suggestions on how to present that, I would love it. But I'm just not going to exploit that family any more than they've already been. Anybody know about the Melissa Lucia case? There was a Hulu documentary about it. I think the Long case would bring up the hate again. Yeah, absolutely. And from my understanding, there's still Facebook groups. The original video with Sophie is still on YouTube, which is absolutely disgusting to me. And there's still groups and there's still people that are backing Michael. And I just wouldn't want to kickstart any of that. I wouldn't want to be involved in that. Yeah. Annie Elise and the Glare were awful in that case. Absolutely awful. And Annie Elise is vile, in my opinion, for the things that she did in that case. And the Glare, I don't know. I sit on the fence. But again, I still don't understand why that original video of her is still online. That should have been scrubbed. That little girl's going to have to live with that her whole life, and her brothers and her loved ones. And that's not fair. The story set the stage for some what we still see done in these cases currently, but that's just from the Long case came right at around COVID. And I think that's another reason why it was able to be exploited and twisted. And so many got involved with it. I mean, 250,000 in a GoFundMe in just a few days, when people were at the worst of their moments, being, having to be in their homes and not working and things like that. It's very interesting how many people latched onto that. But I think because of COVID and just the situation at that time, people needed something, and I think many had good intentions, but they were very much misled. I think, Josh, I think if the case could teach lots and make more understand, I think creators like you, Nonsense, Mal, could tackle the case with dignity and respect. Yeah. I think maybe taking some of the bigger elements from the case and explaining how they snowballed and how they were taken and used to exploit without actually discussing without exploiting them. I mean, if it could be done, I would love to. Let me see here. I'm going to grab my phone because it's difficult for me. I have the worst eyesight. Let's see. Okay. Can I also say something that bugs me? Everyone knows Karen Reed's name, but not John. That bothers me. And we have had so many discussions about the victim is always lost in the story. I mean, many of us, myself included, I can name off, big names or infamous names of criminals and stuff, but the victims get lost in it. And we need to reverse that somehow. I don't know how, but that needs to be reversed. You actually help folks understand and debunk twisted logics plus theories like these other tragedy pimps do. Most pimps come into a case and just spit fire of rubbish and gain subs. Yeah, it's all about gaining subs. It's all about the one thing that drives me nuts is everyone wanting to be the first to give out this, supposed information without ever vetting the information. They see a rumor somewhere and the first thing they do is hit the live button and they jump on without vetting it, without researching it, and then here we go, the lies snowball. Subs in my opinion are very dangerous in the fact that they will take the word of someone and they will not research for themselves. They will take the word of a creator and they will run with it as though it is fact and truth. And no, we need to do better. We need to research cases. We need to research when somebody says this or that. I mean, I've never been the type to just take someone's word and run for it. I need to see it for myself. Oh, okay, Spitfire. What are you cooking? I haven't even thought about dinner tonight. The internet reactions to cases or custody battles intrigues me because I don't understand when things are ran with. Yeah, especially like the Sophie case, the long case was definitely parental alienation. Alienation, I believe that's the way it's pronounced. I'm sorry. And it was more so a custody battle than anything else, but it was outrageous and it was disgusting and vile, and the tactics that were used. I'm upset that he only got a very short time in prison. He should have gotten much, much longer time in prison. And I hope that the reunification for that family has worked. Ooh, lasagna. I'm coming for dinner. Hi, Emily. Why do you all feel people get so wrapped up in these cases? Why do you feel like, especially custody cases and stuff like that, why are people so quick to get so involved and wrap themselves in it? Hi, Cash. Yeah, these are convos we have often and things we all fall into doing because of how stories are told. We don't have the answers, but it's always something on my head. Nanya, I think it's because they are outraged by the perpetrator, not so much empathetic with the victim. Yes, that's another thing. People need to learn the difference between outrage, empathy, and sympathy. You can't let your outrage and your frustration, anger take over. You need to sit back. In my opinion, it's like you need to sit back and have empathy for all involved and take the steps to make sure that you're not overstepping. At least that's my opinion. Especially when creators overstep, it's so damaging to cases because how is that going to affect a jury or something like that if that ever comes into play? Outrage is easier than empathy. Absolutely. I think we've lost what empathy means. Mm. think it's because each story triggers some type of connection to our own personal experience. Absolutely, like the how you, I, and Nonsense met through the Vaughn case. I mean, I know for me it was very personal because it dealt with suicide, and that was something that I could identify with, and it absolutely broke my heart. But that is what fueled my empathy to want to make sure that the truth and the facts were being told, so that the family was not being exploited, so that Vaughn himself was not exploited. So, yeah, definitely. I think people connect and then they run with their own personal feelings or emotions. Let's see here. Safe place for me to vent this. One thing said yesterday by MGL made me see red. Who accuses someone of buying fake ashes, and why would anyone even think that? Is that in regards to the Summer Wells case? Because I know that there was this disgusting rumor going around about the parents wearing a necklace with ashes, and people insist that it's Summer's ashes. It is not. I believe it was a loved one. I believe it might have been a parent of one of the well, a grandparent of Summer that had passed away, and those are the ashes that are carried in there. But of course, people twist it, turn it, make it as disgusting and vile as possible, and put it out there for people to reach and grab and just spin, spin, spin with it. And MGL is just a disgusting person all the way around. Um, she's just vile. Let's see. LOL. I lost empathy and emotion around 19, trying to build it back. Yeah, Cash. I think we all go through a process in life where maybe we've learned empathy as a child, and then we kind of lose it along the way, maybe because of personal circumstances or whatever. But that's when we need to do better, and we need to grow, and we need to build it back up. And I appreciate you saying that, and I appreciate you taking the time to work on that. It's all about doing better. Josh, behave. Josh, are you running around here? Do you need to be sprayed with the beaver butt juice? Absolutely. Outrage requires an instant reaction. Empathy requires us to step out of our own feelings and think of others. Oh, the good Nunya. That's amazing. That is said perfectly. Why you can recognize the dark triad. Cash, I have so much respect for you. I mean, you are upfront and honest, and I really appreciate. Yeah, that's how exactly how I got things wrong in the start, was by my own emotions and trauma. Yeah, exactly. We wrap um, our own experiences around a situation, and then we run with it based off of that, rather than stepping back and looking at the facts and putting the victims first. Many creators make themselves as victims when it has nothing to do with them, and that's very odd to me too. That's just disgusting. If you're in true crime and you're speaking out on true crime, but then you somehow flip it to make yourself the victim, there's something really wrong, really, really wrong with you. And you should really step back and not have anything to do with true crime. If you cannot be victim focused on the actual victim, step out of the arena. Just my opinion. Mm. Oh wow, she accused Dre of doing that? That is disgusting. These people, and that's another thing. They regurgitate their rumors and they'll apply them to each case. It's rinse, wash, rinse, repeat over and over and over again. Same rumors apply to a different case, and twist up the narrative and move on, and just and never go back and fix it, never go back and retract it, or never make the statement, this is an opinion or a discussion, or this, you know it's just, it's so gross. It is so gross. There's no need for rumors. There's no need to make a case worse than it already is. Victims don't need that. Victims' families don't need that. The public as a whole doesn't need that. It actually desensitizes people more than it helps. um, Hi, T. Marie. uh, how do you all feel about the state of society right now and being like desensitized? Do you think we're over emotional? Do you think we're not emotional enough? Do you think that we put our emotions in the wrong places? Sheila, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Dre and Marvon remind me of my brother. It just didn't play out on the internet. I am so sorry. Um, I sometimes go by my own personal trauma, and I am dealing with it now through EMDR. So I don't know how to deal with it sometimes, if that makes sense. That makes absolute sense, because again, I think we connect ourselves to things based on our own experiences instead of stepping out. And I do this too. Instead of stepping out and remembering that each person has their own experience, I think it's a good example to show. Chapt and I, we had a very similar situation in the way that we both became victims and survivors, but at the same time, it was very different. The way that we, um, the way that we see it, the way that it affected us is very different. So, people, I believe, need to step back and see that yes, we can have a similar situation as someone else, but it doesn't mean that that other person is affected in the same way that we were. And again, that's, I think, where empathy comes in. We have to step back and remember that each person has their own situation, their own way of dealing with things, and just have empathy for that and respect it. Cash, don't spray that. But it's all, but beaver butt juice isn't hard candy. So if you eat hard candy, I mean, it's already sprayed in your mouth. Let's see. I hate to say it, but it was a lesson I needed to learn, and I'm so thankful I did on that one. What is still said about her based on lies is disgusting. Absolutely. And there's no such thing as a perfect victim. Nonsense and I talk about that all the time. So, and two things can be true at once and all of that. I know for a fact I wasn't a perfect victim. I had a past, and at that moment when things had happened, I was involved in things that I shouldn't have been. But we can't use those things against people. It's wrong to dig. If it doesn't connect, then don't dig. Don't bring it out. Hi, Duchess. How are you, beautiful? I think the interaction has caused a lack of emotional connection and encouraged our reactions. Just my opinion. In person, I feel like people are disconnected. Yeah, I think a lot of people are disconnected. They're disconnected to others and they're disconnected to themselves. A lot of people don't have self-awareness anymore. And I mean, could it be technology? Could the Unabomber have been correct in saying that it was going to be the downfall? It definitely, I think it's just, I think it's something that needs to be looked at. I think we need more human connection. Cash. I think society is very split right now. Excuse my pun. Yeah, it is split. And it shouldn't be. I don't understand the idea of sides. I don't understand division. It's concerning. It's very concerning when division is created. Especially when it comes to a victim. There should be no division. It should be the facts, empathy, and support. Sunday Doodles. Hi, Sunday. I see a lot of women hate and undermine other women. That behavior is so filthy to me. That's from my own experience with my mother. Yeah, that's filthy. That's vile. Women wanting to undermine other women is a huge issue in society. It's a huge issue on this app. I mean, uh, going at people for their gender or what you think their gender is, going at people for looks, going at people for just the most ridiculous things that have no bearing, no connection, no anything. I mean, if you're going to call someone out, call them out on their bad behaviors. Don't call them out on things that are subjective to you, that you think, you think someone with XYZ is yeah, I mean, it's kindergarten. It's kindergarten. It's playground status when you start to throw stones and call people names and things like that and hurt whole communities because you decide you want to stereotype someone, and it's just gross. All of it is so gross. Let's see here. Nonsense, are you having a mental health stream anytime soon? Yes, nonsense. Let's please do that. I mean, I'll even do one over here. I think it's much needed. And it's definitely a direction that I would like to go in, just kind of a place to release. I wish that there was something a little more private, a little more secure, but it is what it is. And hi, Marcy. Still have trauma from the lockdown. I know in California we were on strict lockdowns during COVID. Spitfire, I absolutely agree with this. During COVID, I was part of the essential workers, but I will say it was so incredibly strange to come and go from work and hardly see anyone. The 6 foot restrictions and just the fear that people had. I feel like it still hasn't left yet. It hasn't left. I'm unfortunately still stuck in the mindset of ordering and delivering, having things delivered, and I need to get away from that. I need to actually get out and go shopping and do things like that. I need to get back to what it was before those lockdowns. Definitely the lockdowns had a huge impact on mental health. Um, and then all of the politics and everything have taken a huge hit on mental health. And we don't have the resources. And I am truly concerned um, when it comes to mental health, truly concerned that we don't have the resources and things may get worse from here. because we don't have the resources. Hi, Jamie Cowboys. Hi, Bryden. Bryden, oh, that is very sweet. You are important. You are loved. You have a voice. You are valued. You are respected. You matter. And that goes out to everyone. Bryden, that's beautiful. Thank you for saying that. Words of actions. No, the superficial. Um, I'm really big on, words versus actions, what people speak versus what they do. If you don't show action and all you do is sit and speak, it means nothing. Absolutely nothing. Let's see here. You don't need certificates. You can advocate without having a certificate. It's just make sure in my opinion, when you advocate, it's the victim or the person in need is put first. They're always, it's about them. It's not about us and what we're doing for them. It's about what the other person is receiving. I think one of the worst things about this app, and I have been guilty of it too, is how we forget about the fact everyone is a real person. We all have parents, siblings, some have kids and grandkids. Emily, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's like everybody around here thinks that everybody else is a bot or something, or it's just it's very strange how people interact and click up and are willing to say and do things to destroy another person as if they've lost humanity. Yes, Nanya, that was so crazy. Like being on the freeways and stuff, especially in bigger cities like LA, Orange County, San Diego, and absolutely no one around. At that time, like it usually takes me about 4 hours to get to where two of my kids are. And during that time, I mean, I could do that in 2.5 hours because there was absolutely nobody on the streets, and it was like apocalyptic. It was very strange. I didn't like it at all. Josh B, absolutely. Mental health is really the key to a healthy life and surroundings. Yeah, without our mental health on check, then our physical health starts to deteriorate, and our relationships around us deteriorate, and mental health is huge, and we just don't have the resources for it. I don't know about other countries. I just know, like in the US, especially in California, I can only speak on California. Um, we don't have the resources, and the resources that we do have are so limited and confined. It's it's a slap in the face, honestly. It's disgusting. I know I went through burning hoops to try and get one of my kids help. He was on edge. It was one of the most terrifying points in raising my kids. I had to go to the point of actually calling CPS and asking them to take him. Um, and in the end, the judge ended up giving him back to me saying, well, CPS is for when children are being abused and your children aren't being abused. So you have to take them back. And it's like, well, you can, great, give them back to me. But at the same time, provide resources, please, like point me in the right direction. Cause so far I'm losing him. And, I can't do that. But thankfully things turned around and he's doing much better now. But um, mental health is huge, is, is, huge. We have become so accustomed to the app. We don't treat one another like real people. It's a screen name and so much hate, and it's toxic. It's very sad. My sister calls this the dark web. Absolutely. This place is so incredibly toxic. All platforms of social media have become very toxic, which in turn makes workplaces become toxic and family life becomes toxic. And we need to figure out something to rid the toxicity around us and the toxicity that we may put out as well. Like, we have to be more conscious about what we put out, and me included. I'm speaking for myself here. Maintaining your mental health is as important as your physical health. Absolutely, Spudler. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I took a few mental health days from YouTube a few weeks ago. Dutchie told us all on a live, we all need to touch grass and get out and enjoy. I greatly appreciate her for that, as it helps some of us work from home. Working from home working from home, I thought was something that I really wanted to do, and I was super excited. And then when a month, 2 months, 3 months went by, and all I was doing was staring at the same walls, I realized how damaging it was for me, for my mental health. And I appreciate Duchess for telling everyone to go touch grass. I appreciate those creators that do ask their subs to go out and self-care and go out and do something nice for themselves. You have a lot of creators that sit here and just constantly want people come back, hours and hours and hours and hours of live. And I'm going to jump from this channel to my smaller channel, come with me, or I'm going to be live for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. That is so destructive. It is so destructive to do to people. And then echo chambers are built, and it just becomes very toxic with the clicks and everything else. Yeah, there's no trust on this platform. I think this platform is almost like a social experiment. Hate is absolutely an addiction, and hate takes a lot of energy. And I don't understand why people want to use that energy and waste that energy for something that is just going to spread more toxicity, and it's going to become more vile, and it's just going to snowball more and more. Yes, good Nanya. Social media breaks are amazing for the soul. I love taking them off and on because it helps adjust my perspective constantly. Yes. Oh, look at Cash getting mad respect from Josh. I love it. I love it. Emily, I was just telling my sister about the drama, and she said, get out of there. She watches LawTube and has watched Ick and Rabbit and before. She just doesn't like what I tell her about the drama. Yeah, the drama is just too much. Like, I guess if you could be in the drama, haha, and it's not hurting anyone, so be it. But when it gets to a point where it's toxic and you can't separate yourself from it, it's dangerous. It becomes dangerous. It becomes dangerous to our mental health. It becomes dangerous to physical health. It becomes dangerous to other people. And it's just a toxic roller coaster. Hi, Grain. How about getting to know special friends in a Discord, get close, and then destroy the Discord, no friends anymore. Very sad, and it broke my heart. I don't do Discord. I'm very leery about Discord. It's gosh, I almost feel like it's more toxic than here from what I've heard. Um, I really don't understand the idea of building up a community and then completely burning it down, and then relationships that people thought they had are just gone. That's very odd to me. And then you have the parasocial relationships and things like that. It's just it's very concerning, especially for people who are trapped in a sense, trapped in their home, whether it's for medical reasons or you know, mental health reasons or something. We have to really think about the profiles and stuff that we're interacting with, and you know, what their situation may be, and have respect across the board. Um, Take other people's feelings and emotions into consideration. Vanilla extract has beaver butt juice. Oh, that's interesting. Like real vanilla extract or the imitation? It's full of discord. Yeah, it was toxic. Some people are just lonely and they rely on the interaction with others online. Yeah, yeah, and we have to be aware of that. We have to be aware of, you know, the situations, not in not in an intimate, like, oh, I'm going to dig into your background, but just, you know, watch people in chat and see what they talk about and things like that, and especially about their personal life, and kind of take note of that, and you know, moving forward, just kind of remember those things and take them into consideration as you're um, communicating with them. Hi, Aries. I will love the light, for it shows me the way, yet I will endure the darkness because it shows me the stars. I love that. I'm beginning to think it's best to be like you. Sit back, listen, and all, and just keep opinions to myself. I'd be better off just listening, taking notes, or just not listening to the creator. I mean, for me, I've always kind of been this way. I've been a very quiet person all my life. I people watch, I observe, try to stay out of as much as I can. I do have a lot of social anxiety and that type of thing as well, so that kind of plays into it. So that's just me. That's just my personality. I don't expect anybody else to like to take those traits, because sometimes those traits can be damaging as well. Um, so, but I try to sit back and try to sit back in a quiet form and look at the perspective across the board before I even make an opinion. Aries. Duty Ron's Discord is nice. I love Duty Ron. I have watched him for quite a while. He is a very spot on, respectful creator. Drama and infighting amongst creators is energy draining and tiresome. Yes, I really don't get like the creator to creator dramas and stuff like that. Like, just run your platform, talk about what you talk about, but the whole like ganging up and creating these cliques and going after and stuff like that, it's very consuming to the soul, I believe. It's not something that, my opinion and me personally, it's just not something that I can get into. I do believe that if somebody goes real life, you don't go real life back at them. You depending on the degree of the real life, you quietly take it to the authority that it needs to go to and move forward. The back and forth is just, for what? Are we in grade school? I mean, it's just too much. You're welcome, Nanya. Thank you for being here. Gosh, this is actually longer than I thought it was going to be. I'm trying to keep these to like 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. So I'm going to end this right now, and hopefully maybe next weekend we could do another one. Let me know if there's anything that you guys want to talk about, or if you just want to keep it like an open discussion and just a place to just talk and express our opinions and that type of thing. To be honest, what I have seen is when a case dries up, the info and commentary, some creators look. Yeah. So that also bothers me. One last thing. It also bothers me when a creator starts a case and then just allows it to fizzle away and does not see it all the way through. Because again, what have you done for the victim? What have you done to help the victim if you start a case and then you completely just walk away from it and stop talking about it? You've actually hurt the victim and the case more than anything. But I think I am going to end this now. I know that Nonsense and I at some point are going to be doing the MBunk hearing. I'm going to show some of the information from both of the parole hearings, and then there's the MBunk hearing. So 2 parole hearings, MBunk hearing. And kind of give you guys a glimpse on that. And kind of show like maybe how we could make a difference. Examples, maybe people can pull from the information and we can all collectively come up with a way to move forward and help victims. But with that, I want to thank you all for being here. I so appreciate it. I get so nervous when I hit live and I'm like, okay, is anybody going to show up? Like I said, I know I'm not the most exciting, but I do try to keep it just chill and allow everybody to just express themselves, kind of decompress. And, it is almost a mental health check-in. So I hope that everybody has an absolutely amazing week. Enjoy the remainder of your weekend, and we will see each other soon. Thank you so much for being here. Hi, Roro.